It's just that like most outdoor things are not
horrendous.
ideal. They're not ideal.
Look, here's the thing though. When I went and did the outdoor shows with cars, it was very weird for the first like 5 minutes. It was like they're honking. I was like, this is awful. I hate this.
But I don't want to.
5 minutes in, I was fucking like, I get it. Okay, I know what to do.
But we have evolved. It's called podcasting. I don't want to perform for cars. I can just be funny for an hour or 2 hours a week.
Well, your fan base doesn't have cars.
Man, I'm sorry my fan base isn't my other celebrity friends. I apologize. I apologize. Jennifer Aniston and Sandra. Who are these people? It's over. It's over, ladies.
Explain to me TikTok. Is TikTok real?
Yeah.
Benton makes a very good point. People have 8 million followers on TikTok. The same person will have like 100,000 on Instagram. What's happening?
Because everybody on Instagram is an old witch, like your friends. And on TikTok, everybody's just hot as fuck, and we don't care. And we don't care about old people and what they're about. Like, we're about positivity and light and showing and being healthy and showing our dicks. That's what we're about. So I'm not upset at old school people.
What is the most important
like
platform right now?
Dan Rather.
According to you.
Most realtors are brain dead. And they amass these large fortunes by being brain, and it's like it's the funniest because none of the interactions are real. Like none of the like they're all like he's like you want it for 8, but it's gonna be for we're too far apart. It's really like 9. But like a lot of those real conversations are like a realtor turning around and going, listen, being like my client's trying to get out of China with his life right now. The World Bank. This guy they want him for genocide. He poisoned a river, but he loves this infinity pool. He's gonna get his money out here. But you gotta listen. I mean, this guy. I mean, they want him for narco trafficking. He's coming at This is the Sinaloa cartel.
Let's make a deal.
Let's go. You need, and instead it's like, I like the windows. It's like, that's not it.
No, it's
that
not
ain't it.
Definitely
I'll
not.
tell you
This
that
guy has
much.
killed entire families.
Oh, yeah, in New York
and he
City.
wants this apartment.
Like, all the people that own these houses are like Russian fertilizer magnates,
yes.
Chinese amusement park tycoons.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
Oh, yeah.
Now, I bet you were a fucking savage. What did you do? Subprime mortgage seller?
I sold subprime mortgages because I believe in people and their ability to own homes. That's number one. And I was stopped from doing that by a totalitarian government who does not believe in people the way that I do.
So
sorry.
Would you tell people who are like, I don't know if I can afford this? You were like, dude.
By the way,
I'm looking at
America
the
is a country of thieves and criminals.
Yeah.
No one said I don't think I can afford.
That's true.
By the way, I love that. That's such an innocent, great way to think about it.
Yeah.
Like there's someone on the phone where I'm like, hey, we could get you $300,000 Thursday, and they go like this. I don't know if I can afford it. No, it's America.
No.
Everyone's a dirtbag.
They're like, I can.
They're like, can we get it Tuesday?
Yeah.
Can we get it
Can I
Wednesday
make it
morning?
500?
Yeah. So it's actually not. I mean, I'm sure the predatory lending went on, things like that went on, but the majority of people that I worked with were selfish scoundrels.
Yeah.
That wanted money.
Were you ever?
I gave them money.
Did you ever?
I bought a subprime mortgage. I bought a house with a subprime mortgage.
You did?
Yeah.
Did you ever get to the Did you ever have somebody, whatever, who's I don't know the ins and outs of it, but applying? And you looked at their stuff and you're like, there's no way we can give this guy anything.
Well, the worst one we had was a guy who was clearly like had dementia or didn't know where he was. And his son wanted to open up a strip club in Miami. And his son just took all the money out of his house. And we were sitting at the closing and we're signing papers. And this old guy's like struggling to sign papers. And his son is like, keep signing, Daddy. It's almost over. And the closing attorney said, I'm not really comfortable with this. And I'm like, yeah, it ain't great. But, I mean, at that point, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
Shout out to the Vasquezes. But again, it's a guy that came to me. He's like, my father's, an old guy. I want to suck all the money out of his house and go open up a strip club. It's like, all right.
How's that strip club doing?
I don't know, Tom, but if I was a betting man, I don't know.
I bet that's a great business.
I think it is.
Really do.
And
I love sales. I miss it. And I love it. I love sitting in a room with uneducated people, calling people over the phone and trying to build an empire.
COVID, a broken ankle. Last night she said I had an overwhelming amount of pressure. There was no real sickness. It was just an overwhelming amount of pressure that needed to be relieved.
The worst part is the video. She's like, don't worry, I'll relieve you from the pressure. And Mike's like, yes, thank you, nurse.
Yeah.
Well, robotic. No idea.
It's like someone's holding a gun to his head. They're like, role play, bitch. Thank
You have to
nurse.
get better at it.
Yes.
You have to get better.
You ever do the RPG stuff, the role playing?
Well, that's
Have you ever used an RPG in the bedroom?
I think when someone's hooking up with me, they're always pretending I'm someone else.
Got it.
I always imagine they're doing a role play in their head because their eyes are closed and a lot of times they're screaming. No, I've never. I'm not into like role playing. I think it's just hot enough. From like I'm me, you're you.
Got it.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good enough. This is fun enough. And I'm also bad. Like I would want to be something that I'm believably not.
What,
You
for
know?
example?
I just want to be. I'd want to be a sport, like in sports or a fight. Like it would be ridiculous.
A fighter.
I'm like a fighter. I'd be like, I'm a boxer, and they go, no, you're not. You're not. No. So I'll do like a realistic role play where I'm like a manager at a
Burger King.
Yeah, at an Islands Burgers and Shakes. I'm a manager.
Great restaurant.
Great. And I'm a manager and you're a waiter who's going to be fired. And, and it's just and it's always sexual harassment. All my role plays are, I'm committing a felony
Right.
in my head. So that's why I stay away from it. Cause I'm like, this is an abuse of power. This is not good. So I try to just stay away.
look, Tim. Joe Rogan says you're a national treasure.
He also said the vaccine for coronavirus was freshly fallen snow. So I love him to death, but he says a lot.
Yo, he really does. He also said Connecticut. He also said Connecticut is simply a highway between New York and Boston.
Every other day he talks to me. He's like, vitamin D cures COVID. I'm like, I don't know, but all right. So I'm just taking vitamin D, no mask, thinking I'm good. So I'm gonna drop dead on his advice. I love him to death, but
Here's a guy, obviously, who's looking to date.
this guy looks like he's in trouble. This guy looks like he didn't answer a contact tracing call. He's infected 38 people.
Hey, Mr. Dillon, huge fan. Mr. Vaughn, long-time listener, watcher, first-time caller and communicator. Pardon my back mullet. I don't have a top mullet, but I got a little back hair
Damn, he's
mullet.
got that heat coming
Anyway,
in.
I got a crazy question for Mr. Dillon. What do you think about the assassin killing himself that shot the judge's son? This Ghislaine Maxwell shit's getting a little crazy.
Yeah, it's real
on
creepy.
us.
Yeah.
So let's get into that.
Yeah.
First, let's just establish that you believe Epstein was a pedophile. No, I'm just saying, let's just establish some ground.
Who are you working for? Wait a minute. Hold on. What? You just feel the pressure because they're looking at other people in their orbit and they're like, yeah, okay. And it's like the Greta Thunberg girl. There's people that are like, she's so great, but they're also on private jets. Like these are people that take private jets and they're like, this girl's great. And listen, she made some valid points, but she was a little creepy. It was a creepy speech. I don't know if you saw it.
We
It was
saw
creepy.
it.
It was odd.
Unfortunately,
I've watched
don't
it.
know how much we could talk
I've watched
about
it 5 to 10 times.
It was too much. So the normal reaction to that from a human being that just turned on their TV was like, what? Like, yeah, okay, but is she okay? Like that was a normal reaction.
Yeah.
Like, what's going on? She's like, my childhood. You're like, this is very odd, I wanted her to go the full thing and just start throwing out conspiracies. You killed Jeffrey Epstein in the cell. And then you come to us and ask us. It's like, wait a minute. Okay, now it's getting good.
Some are saying she's like a plant of some
No,
sort.
man. I don't. Listen, here's the deal.
Others are
I did
saying
a
that
video.
she's actually Gollum from The Lord of the Rings.
I did it. Well, that's. I did a video on Instagram and I put it out on Twitter.
I'm
where
gonna have to cut that.
I just did I pretended to be an agent for like these kids, and it wasn't making fun of these kids. It was just making fun of agents.
Yeah.
Like the idea that you'd be an agent for a child activist, and you just represented all these people. It's like, can you get David Hogg on the phone? We sent 30 pairs of sneakers to his dorm. I need this guy. It was this agent who was like, Malala went with a competitor. You haven't heard her name in 2 years. And then it was like, Malala, you got to come out as non-binary if you want heat now. No one cares about landmines, honey. Nobody gives a shit about clean water. It's about guns and climate, So there are people behind these. Doesn't mean the kids are wrong. There's people behind them. There's a machine. It's the way it is.
Do they build them or do they see opportunities and then promote them?
I don't think anybody needs to get built. I think people show up. It's like, listen, people get cast. Think about it like a movie, right? People get cast in a role, but they how many people show up wanting the role? And it was just this really depressing time. And it was, the saddest, sales guys are supposed to have money, confidence.
Yeah.
We had none of that left. We'd been beaten down and broken. And the dude who was kind of the head of the operation was this drunk named Bob. Bob had lost his license for a DWI, so we had to take turns driving him home. He was our boss.
Everyone had to
Yeah,
just
yeah,
take shifts.
yeah. And when you have to drive your, and he would fall asleep because he'd drink all day at Chili's, and then he'd fall asleep on the way home in your car, and then wake up like at a stoplight to just deliver a cryptic message. Like he'd be like, and then he'd wake up and go, "We're in big trouble. I'll tell you that much. We're in big trouble." And you'd go, "What?" And then he'd go, "No, make a left at Park Avenue." And so he would just deliver these cryptic messages. This is how that company started. You want to hear how that company started? I pitched this as a show and nobody bought it. Are they fucking nuts, Sickler?
Yeah.
So here's what happened. This is how the company started. This guy, Bob, was a high-level guy and a major mortgage lender in Long Island. He's a CFO. He sees that this company is going to kind of crumble. He sees the writing on the wall. It's like, we're in trouble. We're holding on to a lot of bad debt. This thing's just going to go. It's going left. We got to get out. So he pulls his buddy. His buddy and him, instead of evacuating the business, right? This is such a Long Island fucking thing. They go, we're going to do it the right way. We have all this know-how. We're going to put together a small company. We're going to do it the right way. So they go up to this guy's house upstate, which is partially done. They're getting sauced. They're talking about the new company they're going to have. Whoever this other guy is, I don't know, falls through a second floor that's not completely done and dies.
No.
Dies.
Come on. While they're up there talking about this shit?
Correct. Instead of abandoning the project, Bob then walks around at his funeral and goes, "I just want to let you know I'm going to open the company for your father. He was a good man. He believed in tight lending standards. We're going to open this company." The underwriting, it was,
At
the
the funeral.
company started in death.
Yeah.
It started in death. And so I worked there for about a year and a half. Very sad Christmas party. Very, very sad.
I'll bet, yeah.
Very sad.